Okay, enough theory. Now just check what is React. So React is a web framework that makes it easy to build and reason about the view of your web app. The view is what is displayed on the screen, how it changes, how it updates. Normal JavaScript function returns JavaScript things string number object. React basically combines JavaScript HTML produce language. They call JSX. JSX JavaScript like function returns HTML instead of regular JavaScript things. So what is the power of this? It's an extension of JavaScript that adds static typing. It's an extension of JavaScript that allows you to return HTML element from JavaScript. It allows you to reason about to view your app. Okay, so that's the answer of this. Okay, now let's see the basic syntax. Here's a simple component. The combination of JavaScript functions that return HTML are called components. Components are written in JSX. Those seemingly awkward at first, they are actually quite easy to work with once you get used to it. So basically, you will work uh, lots on components in React. So this is just a simple React component which have a function which is returning an HTML. So you can see that it's a combination of JavaScript and HTML. So that's why we call it JSX. Now let's move it. Grade isn't much different from HTML. But what if you wanted to render a list of items based on an array? So now see the syntax. If we want to dynamically generate this list, so we have defined the items, then we have iterated by using the map function, which is JavaScript function, and just display it here like that. Okay, we have just used JavaScript inside HTML. JXX, you can write JavaScript inside HTML by wrapping the JS code in curly braces. So by using the curly braces, you can use JavaScript inside the HTML in React. So now let's move on. Inside our component, we basically embed another component. The map function is a JS function that returns the HTML in a component, even though it's not explicitly defined as top level function. It is still a component. Embedding component inside the component is the power of React. This is called composition. What is composition? It's a combination of multiple components create a single its dependency makeup of React library official React song. A combination of multiple components to get a single hierarchical HTML document. Okay, now let's move on. Data passing between components. Components are not very useful if they are just static. So these are few components. What if we don't able to pass any data inside it? It will be not useful. If we are able to pass this data and change this data dynamically, then it will be more useful. So now let's say components are not very useful if they are using a static short looping or over arrays and things are fine, but most web apps today are not static documents. Most web apps today will dynamically fetch data from some sort of servers, database or blockchain. This means the same components will often times to be required to display different data. The main use case of having components is able to write code that is usable and can within the contain different information without rewriting the entire code again. Let's take a look at an example which of these code is more readable. this one, or this one. Card receives an object as an argument. We can we can destructure the object to get specific variables from inside the object, name and job. So basically we are passing these two inside the component, uh, and just display it here. So let's see how it will be shown. Here it is. It's a component. We have called it from here by using the tag, and everything is displayed here. Now we have created we have uh, call another component inside from this component, this card, and pass the value name and job. So basically name and job will go here and we display it here. So basically it shows this HTML when we call it from here. It was called this cards component, and in card component we have called the card component, and it will show each card diff with the dynamic value that we are passing from it. So that's how we are passing value to the component. Now let's move on. And you can pass arbitrary data to components through props. Yes, we can. This code is much more easy, reusable, and actionable. Want to slightly change how all the cards look? Just modify a single component, not all copy pasted HTML. How do React components allow you to make your code easier to understand? Using GitHub community by enabling usability of components through data passing. By enabling usability, so components are very important in React.js. They will be used throughout the React.js application. Basically we will divide the application in small different components that will be reusable. So they will be very easy to use, and we don't have to rewrite again. So now let's see what's next. Interactive components. Alright, so we can now pass data between components. That is all good, but we haven't yet added interactivity. Things like being able to run some code when a button is clicked or when the text is typed into an input box. Thankfully, in JavaScript, function can contain function within them. For example, this is the function. We can create function inside it, and then another function will call this function. It will going to print hello as it's called inside it. It will throw an error because it's undefined function, because the function is scope is inside this function. That's why this will show undefined. Okay. Other function is only available inside the some functions, and it is clearly used feature in regular JavaScript, but is very heavily used when working with React. Let's see why with an example. Okay. What will be the following code do when run? Okay. Let's because add two numbers. Okay. add two numbers, it will going to one two sorry okay, basically it will going to throw the error because the function add two numbers is created inside the add three numbers, so it's not available outside this function. That's why it throws the error. Okay, now let's see how we can we can use this in React.js.